Hey guys, Jobin here. So you want to upgrade the washers on your Enlon EL0 whatever series knife. Here's an EL01. This also applies to the 02, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Is there a 07? I don't know. Maybe I just missed that one. But basically, any of their knives with this funny little three-lobed pivot screw. This thing's a pain. It's not adjustable with any common tools, so when your knife gets loose, what do you do? Hopefully it won't, because it's Loctited from the factory, but it might. The other thing is, the pivot washers these come with aren't very good. So we can take a really good knife for the money and make it a better knife for the money by adding some of these. These are high-quality phosphor bronze washers. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get this screw off, and that's the tricky part. There's a few ways you can do this fairly easily. One, this is a this is a cutoff wheel for a Dremel rotary tool. You can take one of these with the Dremel and cut a slot in one of the screws. Then you can take it out with a screwdriver. This is actually pretty easy to do, reliable. If you don't cut too deep, the screw's still plenty strong enough. I do this all the time. There are other options though, and I have some tools to help me do that. This is one I made myself. It's really simple, sort of shade tree mechanic thing. It's a wooden peg with some carpet tacks driven into it, and then the head's cut off, and they're spaced so that they go between the lobes of the screw, and you can get some turning force. A much more professional version of that was given to me as a gift some time ago. I looked into possibly getting these made and marketing them, but the price was just going to be too high per piece. I didn't think anybody would want to buy them at the price I'd have to charge. But same deal. 3 pins, goes around the head of the screw. This one here, this was another gift from a viewer. This is a roll pin. This is a cotter pin. For storage, they go together like that. At one end of the roll pin, there's a hole drilled through it. So now you have a little T-handled wrench. And at this end, that's the normal slot that a roll pin will have. It's ground flat, and there's an extra notch put there, and an extra notch put there. Same deal. Goes around the lobes of the screw. Getting the screw off the first time with this tool will be quite tricky because they generally have thread locking compound on them. So it's going to be really slow the first time with a tool like this, but on the other hand, you can make one of these in a few minutes with, I think, about $1 in parts and some files. So it's kind of neat. The other method... Do you have a drill? We'll check that out. If you set the chuck to the right position, it'll actually neatly wrap around the lobes of the screw. It's another possibility. Alright, so you've gotten this far, got the screw off. What's next? This is how I do it, and it's a pretty quick procedure once you get it down. Take a punch or a rod or a pin or something with the blade open, unlock the blade. That creates a little less friction, and just push the pin out, or push the pivot out. Take out the punch, pull the blade out. The washers will probably still be stuck in there, so grab yourself something, Poke those out of there. See, there'll be one nylon one, and this one's already kind of beat up right from the factory. It's sort of squished on one corner. I don't know how that happened. And one small, this one's not too bad actually, but kind of rough metal washer. But we can definitely do one better than those. Also, you'll notice the blade will probably be covered with gunk, grit from the factory. That's another good reason to do this. Take a minute to clean off the blade. I'm not going to do that right now just because it would take time, but I do recommend cleaning out the inside here and cleaning off the blade. Now these washers are a 1/4 inch inner diameter, 1/2 inch outer diameter, and each one is 0.01 inch thick. The problem is the factory and lawn washers are 0.02 inches thick. I've never been able to find phosphor bronze washers this size thick enough. So what you have to do is you need to use 2 of these per side. Not really a big deal, but it's just what we're stuck with. It actually works really well. So basically, make a blade sandwich. You're going to pinch 2 washers on each side. The positioning does not need to be super precise at this point. Don't worry if the washers are perfectly lined up with each other or the hole. Just pretty close. And actually you can scooch them down that way a little bit. That would be good. Okay, just got them pinched like this. And I'm going to slide the whole thing into the handle. Now if you do it right, it'll be pretty close to aligned already. But it's almost never perfect. So take your punch or a screwdriver, kind of stick it in there, move it around a little bit to get everything centered and lined up. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side, and take the pivot. There's a flat spot that keeps it from rotating. The flat spot is located on this side, so orient it correctly and slip it in. It probably won't go in very far, that's okay. Flip it back over, keep your index finger there, release the lock and just wiggle things a bit and it'll generally pop straight through. If you run into any problems, like if it gets hung up halfway and then can't get through the second set of washers, just again take a tool, insert around in there and push it through again. Now at this point you can put it back on the factory screw, which will be pretty good in my opinion if you have a slot cut in it, but there's another option that I've started offering. This screw is the right size. See, it has the same size head, so it fills up that it fills up the countersink in the handle scale, and you can put it in with an industry standard T8 Torx bit. It's technically a hex head, so you could also use a little hex key or something, but the T8 Torx works fine. So that's what I'm going to put in this one. There we go. Upgraded washers, upgraded pivot screw. Hope you guys found this video helpful. This is Jobin signing off saying, remember where your knife is.